Lapses in Singapore's child protection services, such as inadequate reporting and intervention, led to the death of a 4-year-old girl in 2020. It was found that staff of a preschool that the late Megan Khung attended was not trained to spot signs of potential abuse and report them accurately. The Social and Family Development Ministry and the Social Service Agency involved have since taken steps to improve early detection and reporting of abuse. The ministry says there were at least 8 deaths from child abuse cases not flagged to social services over the past 10 years. Let's take a look at the events that led to the death of 4-year-old Megan Khung in February 2020. Now, on 19 March 2019, teachers at Megan's preschool Healthy Start Child Development Centre saw visible injuries on the young girl. In early April, the school submitted an incident report to the Early Childhood Development Agency, or ECDA. It was prepared by a community worker from Beyond Social Services, or BSS. The report concluded that the young girl appeared happy and did not have further injuries. A few days after receiving the report, ECDA followed up with Megan's preschool. Now, the preschool confirmed that the young girl was well and attended school daily. MSF says there was no reason for ECDA to suspect child abuse based on the information presented by Megan's preschool. Months later, Megan was withdrawn from her preschool. Concerned for her whereabouts, the BSS community worker consulted a child protection specialist centre. The centre advised the community worker to continue working with Megan's maternal grandmother to make in-person contact and check on the girl's well-being. In October, the community worker wrote to ECDA on Megan's withdrawal from preschool. The worker also asked if Megan was registered in any other school. Now, ECDA could not find any such record. The agency advised that a police report should be made. In January 2020, Megan's grandmother acknowledged that she had lost all contact with Megan and the girl's mother. A missing persons report was filed. Another police report was filed months later by Megan's father. It then emerged that Megan had died from abuse months ago. Now, CNA has asked the police what was done between the 2 police reports. The Social Service Agency, whose lapses resulted in the death of Megan Khung, is working to rebuild public trust that has been challenged after the incident. Beyond Social Services, or BSS, says it aims to improve coordination, act faster, and be more proactive in child protection. It says the staff involved in the case are still working there. Chloe Teo reports.
It was at a preschool under this block that the warning signs of abuse were first spotted in 4-year-old Megan Khung. Healthy Start Child Development Centre runs a full-day childcare service to around 54 children and 9 infants from lower-income families. It's operated by a social service agency called Beyond Social Service, and the centre is regulated by the Early Childhood Development Agency.
Megan had been enrolled in this centre in 2017, and staff at this preschool had noticed bruises on her body. A BSS community worker submitted an incident report to ECDA, but assessed the case as excessive discipline rather than sustained abuse, and no further action was taken.
The truth is, Megan's mother, Fu Li Ping, and her then boyfriend, Wang Shixiang, had been abusing Megan for months on end. This was right before Wong dealt a fatal punch that killed Megan in 2020. Fu Li Ping was sentenced to 19 years in jail, while Wong was dealt with 30 years and 17 strokes of the cane.
The centre says its staff had adhered to standard operating procedures that were in place at the time. Since Megan's death, the centre has reviewed and restructured its internal policies after referencing sector protocols. This now includes compulsory training for all its preschool teachers in sector-wide screening and reporting guidelines. When children are absent for at least 2 days, the preschool will now require verified sighting. This will be followed by immediate escalation to authorities if there are still concerns for the child's well-being. Protocols for student withdrawals have also been strengthened and include real-time alerts to the authorities when contact is lost. Incident reports are now accompanied by body diagrams on the severity of injuries, if any.
the centre has declined to be interviewed. But in a statement, it says that the staff involved in Megan's case carry the emotional weight of this tragedy 5 years on. It adds that its focus will now be to address the gaps that this case has brought to light.
Since Megan's death, the child protection sector has been working to improve the reporting process as well as the safeguards in preschools. Now, preschools must now use a standard tool to assess, identify and report possible child abuse. Centres are also required to file such reports with visual diagrams of the abuse besides just written descriptions. If a child with suspected abuse is regularly absent from school, social workers or the Ministry's Child Protection Service must be informed. EGDA now also ensures that cases reported to child protection will receive appropriate follow-up. But an educator in social work says just following these guidelines is not enough.
Definitely there's some lapses that might have actually caused this. Definitely there will be a need for really closer communication. Everybody to work actually a lot more collaboratively. The only problem I feel is that many organizations work in silo, right? I do what I'm supposed to do. I mean, they are not wrong in doing what they're supposed to do, but yet I think the communication, the networking can be improved.